Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This set that we have going on right now is the classic Loshak in the Bag set on hiatus for one show, but we're back with the classic set. I love the classic set, Jimmy the Bag. I guess it's not really the classic set. The classic set was the kindergarten set that we had, the kindergarten chic set that we had when we first started this show, Jim, right?
Yes, and I wonder what our next set's going to be because we'll be there, I think, next week.
Who knows? Yes, who knows? Very soon. But you know, one thing about this show, you put us in a toilet, you put us in a freaking toilet stall, we'll make you a good show. We'll make you a good show. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
Yes, and speaking of good show, I'm 1 for 1 on the day.
Unbelievable.
1 for 1 on the day.
Jimmy the Bag quietly stacking units, which is actually how it works in baseball. You know, you have a lot of the edges are small and there's variance. So normally how it works is, you know, you'll have your big winning days, but more often than not, you're going to creep up a half unit here, a unit there. And Jim is all of a sudden pushing up 10 units. And, you know, what can I say? Yesterday I had a winning day in MLB, and now I'm almost in single digits negative units in MLB. So I'm thinking that I'm going to come back. There are kind of a lot of plays on today's MLB slate that I think I'm liking. We do have some MMA stuff once again. Andreas Hale and I are agreeing in the on our picks for this week's MMAs, and last week Andreas Hale and I swept everything except for one. Andreas Hale has one, which he's very honest about. He has a handicapping weakness where he just has a soft spot for veterans on the not a soft spot, but he thinks they're undervalued. Veterans on the decline as a big underdog. So he took Carlos Condit, and Carlos Condit lost. But we talked about that. It's very funny. Everything else we swept last week.
Yeah, you're huge.
Yep.
And Watterson was such a big
Watterson got a cash.
ride.
So hopefully we can do it again. We'll see. We do have we're in agreement on our picks in this week's UFC event, and we will get to that later on.
Do you mind if I give a shout? Because we talk about how important the chat is.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't they switched pitchers. I wasn't sure what to do, and we moved on. And then Jalen Jones. He wrote in the chat, Fulmer's going to have a big start. And I was like, of course he is. He got lit up last start. He's going to be focused. And Jalen Jones, I want to give you a shout out. You put $148.15 in my pocket, and I thank you. And I thank this chat, man. This chat makes us fucking money.
It is. And look at this. JK says, I watched the morning show live, then rewatched the MLB part a bit ago. It wasn't so bad. Bad audio won't keep me away. Jimmy the Bag, do you know that media gurus and media executives and educated media people say that audio is the most important thing when it comes to videos, whether people stay or not. But our content is so good that JK says bad audio is not enough to keep me away from this show.
I love JK.
Thank you so much, JK.
I love all these guys, man. I just feel like I truly feel. And King Rail says, "Nice call, Chad. I took Detroit
Very
first 5.
nice.
Jay Sandercock was on the Tigers too. Jay Sandercock helped me make that move. I just feel like." We know what a small percentage of accounts make money in sports gambling.
Yes.
But with 400 of us working together, I just feel like we have an edge, and it's the biggest edge I've ever had in my life.
Absolutely. The sky is the limit. We're like you know, when they link up all these computers together, one computer becomes very powerful. It's like what we're doing here. We're putting all our heads together. Let's see other comments coming in. Hako Schofield says, just made my vodka drink, getting ready to watch the best fucking show. All the great research with Pete and Jimmy. Shout out to Hako Schofield. Another fucking shout out to Twate Latte, also known as Aspire to Elate. Yes, I'm pronouncing his name correctly. You know why? Because he made a serious handicapping call yesterday. That was very impressive. I said, if Twate Latte is right about this one, I'm going to be damn impressed. He was dead on. He told us that Tyon would get touched, and I'm giving him another shout out, unsolicited shout out to Twate Latte, aka Aspire to Elate. Great call yesterday on the Tyon.
0.86 ERA, like a 0.78 whip. I mean, that's spectacular.
All right, just looking for some other comment. Oh, Jerry the Whale says, Loshak, is that prune juice or Captain and Coke? No, this is my classic drink. It's prune juice, Courvoisier, and lean. Prune juice, Courvoisier, and lean. That is the magic to my whole life. That is the secret ingredient that makes me the success that I am in life. No kidding. All the good and the bad comes from this in me. Courvoisier, prune juice, and lean. All right, let's get to it, Jimmy the Bag. How about it?
Yeah, let's get to it. I hammered out every single game in baseball card. I've added 3 plays I know I'm making for sure, but all the games are fully capped.
Freestyle. Hold on. Freestyle. I don't know if this is good or bad. Freestyle Fakiri says, I used to watch this show for hockey picks. Now mostly watching for the comedy. LOL. That's a compliment, but the hockey picks have still been fine, right?
Yeah, we're up 69 units combined.
I've been kicking ass in the NHL playoffs, and there's a reason for that, Jim, is because historically I have not done well in the NHL regular season. I had a good regular season this year as a result of the comment section and sitting next to Jim every day. But I'm not surprised I'm doing well in the NHL playoffs this year because I've always done well in the NHL playoffs. I love the NHL playoffs as a handicap.
Well, I know that Al Mack watched the show and is very excited to see whether you're going to put on any of those first period plays. I know that he's very excited.
Yes, I don't know about the first period in tonight's games, but there are a few plays that I'm liking. All right, let me see. What else do we have? All right, let's get into it. MLB. Let's see. MLB. What are the picks that we gave in the morning show? I didn't put them in a spreadsheet. I've been super busy. Jim gave Cubs -1.5 at +180. Of course, Jim is, a bunch of the commenters in the show decided at the beginning of the year they were going to blindly bet every alternative run line on every underdog in every game at Coors Field. That has paid off so far, and it's looking good long term. This particular spot might not be a great spot because another commenter this morning came in and said that Colorado, when they're on a long road trip, their first game back, they have a great record, and they tend to do well in their first game home off a long road trip. Which is
11-2.
Yeah. So that could be due to flukiness or variance. That the signal to noise is what they get. There might be some signal there. There might be something fundamental there. Jim also took a Detroit money line. That game is over. Winner, right? Jim also took Oakland over 9 +101. That's looking like, in retrospect, it might be one of the no-brainer, everyday, low-hanging fruit plays that you want to bet most of the time. Oakland has a very productive offense right now. Over 9 is what Jim got in the Boston game.
Graveman looks terrible.
Yeah. Jim took Philly money line -111, which I took as well. That line has gone down a little bit, which concerns me a little bit, but, we'll talk about that game a little bit more. And Jim also took the Yankees game over 8.5, which I think is a good play, too. I just do not understand why this line opened at 9 and went down a run and a half. If anything, I would have expected it to go to a 9 to 9.5, right? But it went to 8.5, which is weird. Is that maybe Sonny Gray's reputation? I don't know.
I think it's very strange as well. Is it Estrada's record against the Yankees
I don't know.
good? I don't know. But it's Sasana. Our man Sasana says, give me a shout out. It was me, homies. Thank you for that stat illuminating. And I'm telling you,
who was it, Sasana? Yeah. Huge shout out to Sasana. I wish we had a graphic that says huge shout out because I would put that up there right now. All right, I am on Philly money line with Jimmy. I think I kind of like a slight edge. I give a slight edge to Lively over Nova, an edge to Philly's lineup over Pitt, and an edge to Philly's bullpen over Pitt.
After really breaking down the stats,
you don't like it anymore?
No, I don't. It's not that I don't like it, but I actually do give a slight edge to Nova over Lively.
Okay.
A slight edge, but that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. I also took the Minnesota second half money line against Tampa Bay. That's a game we don't exactly know what we're going to get from Archer. Clearly, he's a guy, who has a great arm, big future ahead of him still, but he just hasn't had the results this year.
Well, I'm going to jump on the Twins.
Okay, well, we'll get into that. I gave the Twins second half money line at -119. I also gave Arizona -1, despite the fact they have a new starter going. Another commenter earlier this year said it's probably a good idea just to blindly bet Arizona at home every game until at least May. And that has certainly, they've been kicking ass at home. I'm taking them again tonight. San Diego, a fine team, but nothing special. Tyson Ross can get hit. And I took Arizona -1. That's an underdog line. I took Milwaukee -1. Miami is obviously a pretty good team to look to fade on and to fade in any situation, right? First thought when you have a game following Miami, fade them. I'm taking Milwaukee -1. I also took the Miami-Milwaukee first half over 5 at -105, and that's it for me in MLB. Those are the picks that we gave in the morning. I might add on 10 or 15 more here because there's a lot of plays that I'm kind of liking today. Jimmy the Bag. Why don't we do this? Why don't you add a play that you want to add while I scan for important comments here?
Beautiful. Okay, well, I'm just going to go in order. The last play that I made was just going down in order of chronologically, was the Phillies play. So I am on the Twins and Lance Lynn. Tampa Bay has no offense. One hitter batting better than .270. That's Malik Smith at .373. They've gone 2-7 in one-run games. Seen their bullpen take 7 losses. Twins ERA 3.05. 5th best in baseball. Opponents are hitting .214 against them. Neither pitchers look good to start the season. Lynn's throwing 9 innings over 2 starts, 5.00 ERA, 1.78 WHIP, 12 Ks, 10 walks. He's a strange start against the Astros last out, where he only lasted 4 innings. He was walking batters, but he didn't allow a run. It was a strange start. He's 1-0 with a 3.77 ERA against the Rays lifetime. Archer, 7.84 ERA, 1.69 whip through 20 2/3, 24 Ks, 9 walks, giving up at least 4 runs in each of his 4 starts. He's an excellent career numbers against the Twins, 6-1, 1.84 ERA. That does not concern me at all. Twins are hitting 232, 701 OPS. I think that's a number that's going to improve. Rays are hitting 235, 651 OPS. That's the number I expect them to stay at. And I'm on the Twins with the plus line.
All right. Kind of weirdly, this line has moved in Tampa Bay's favor. Now, that's a little bit weird, Jim.
Well, I just know, and I did this last year, and I'm stopping. People still like Chris Archer. People still think they still bet on him.
I still like Chris Archer. I just hate Tampa Bay.
I don't like Chris Archer.
Really?
No, and at some point in the season, he will show us that he's back. And I'm going to wait to see it.
So what about the overs in this one? First half, full game?
Lance Lynn is sneaky.
Yeah.
Sneaky, and I don't trust the Rays getting enough runs. I could see P Smacks 1 Skag says bad spot for Twins today. Max Priest says thanks bag for Detroit game earlier. Max Priest hit a couple already today. Keep up the great work, Max. Mr. Ghoster is on the Twins total over. Darcy Cretchen, Twins and Lance Lynn. Let's take the trolley to Valuetown, Jimmy. That's what Darcy Cretchen says.
P Smacks 1 Skags. P Smacks 1 Skags says bad spot for Twins today.
Yeah, he's not into it. I like it. Anthony L says, I'm with Jim. Twins tonight. Twins series price minus 110. Ooh, that's a nice find.
Yeah. P Smacks 1 Skags. Sorry, I knew you were going to read that with it. I just love reading it. Yeah. P Smacks 1 Skags says Twins coming off a 16-inning marathon and now still on the road. Of course, yes, they're coming back from Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's a good point, P Smacks 1 Skags.
No, it is. But, and he's right.
Yeah.
He's right. It's not the best spot to be in.
I think a lot of this has to do with just fading Tampa Bay in general. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm not going to fade the Marlins in this spot. I don't trust Chacin, but the Marlins are like the Rays, and we're going to find a ton of opportunities to fade them, and this is a nice one, and this might be the best spot to fade them because when Archer's on the mound, you'll get a good line.
Let's get to some other comments. I just love addressing comments. Is that okay, Jim?
Yeah.
I'm in an okay mood today, and Jesus Ramirez says codeine, promethazine. What you got there, Loshak? Anytime someone asks me over and over again, I will answer. This is prune juice, Courvoisier, and lean. That's what it is. Jesus Ramirez. Thank you very much. Corey 88, man, Loshak, what are you drinking? Let me see. Other comments here. Everyone seems to be agreeing with you on Minnesota. I'm thinking about taking them too. Drew Martin in the house. What's up, Drew Martin?
Nice to have Drew Martin.
Sorry, I'm reading comments here, Jim.
Mitchell Chagas, and we talked about this on the early show, and I think it's bang on. He says Archer is a stud, but probably going to have a subpar year due to him feeling he has to pitch a perfect game to get the W.
That's what I said in the morning.
Exactly.
Didn't I say that, Jim?
Yep.
As we know, as many of our commenters who have actually played, professional or college level sports have said, it's all psychological and those kinds. When you're pitching for a bad team, and exactly what he said, I was like, I bet you if they traded Archer to the Yankees, he'd win 10 in a row and his actual pitching numbers would be better because the pressure would be off. Max Priest says, Loshak, give the Germans some love. Shout out to Max Priest. I knew that motherfucker wasn't from the United States. I knew he. Remember when I said that? Yeah. Max Priest, shout out to the German Max Priest. Let's see. Other comments coming in. Let me see. Ron Walsek. Archer has 2 pitches, smokes too much weed. A fade. Yeah, I mean, I think at least for now on Tampa Bay, he's a fade. Josef Tucker. Nova is a dice roll on the road. Joshua Garay says, Yankees team total over is the bet tonight. That's what I was thinking too. I don't quite understand why the total on that game in general is low and getting bet down. Let's see. Drew
Martin says he likes Cleveland and he says he's on Molly. And I don't want you to be on Molly, Drew Martin. We got a ping pong tournament this evening. I want you to
shout
play
out to Drew Martin. So he's on Cleveland. Who is Cleveland playing? Cleveland is playing. I'm on Cleveland too. I bet it. For second half and full game. I didn't give that was an official pick yet, but I'm on it, and I was thinking about giving both those as official picks, Jim.
Yes.
You want to discuss that game?
Yeah,
Baltimore does not hit righties well. Bauer's off extended rest. He's been pitching well. Bunny's been pitching well too, but I like the Cleveland bullpen. Baltimore they're just a team that kinds of struggles against righties. This is a relatively low line, and I like Cleveland, and I like them on the second half as well.
Yes, Brent Brooksy is saying, would you take Twins -1.5 plus 180? And you know what? I've not.
I would.
You would rather take that than the because I think when I get a plus line, I'll take it.
Well, the thing is, Archer still has upside, right? If Archer throws a strong game, which is entirely possible, you might not win that game outright. If Archer gets hit. And the same deal with Lynn. Lynn is a guy with high volatility, right? Lynn is a guy who also is vulnerable. Even though it's Tampa Bay, he could get hit if he has a good game. That if he's on his game, he's probably going to have a strong start. So I read this game as having a lot of volatility, and I would take Minnesota -1.5.
Interesting. And Brandon Cummings agrees. He says that's crazy value. Am I the only one who thinks this? So both you guys are on that. Yeah, Bauer versus Bundy. I felt uncomfortable with this game. Both guys pitching great. Game time temp 56 Fahrenheit. Wind blowing in pretty strong, but dies down by the end of the game. Baltimore's lost 6 straight against Red Hot Red Sox and Detroit Tigers. Indians have won 6 of 8. Bowers look good. 2.25 ERA, 1.10 WHIP, 21 K, 7 walks. He says, I feel my stuff is good, probably better than it's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, Bauer he was a guy with big potential who was wildly underachieving for a lot of his career. He added like a knuckle curve and a couple of other pitches. And for about a year and a half now, he's definitely been a pitcher that I've been looking to bet on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just he's a drone pilot. You know, what kind of fucking clown is a drone pilot?
Jim, you got to be a sociopath here. These are random number generators. These are not real individual people with flaws and
you're right.
Good and bad character.
Bundy, winless in 4 starts, is the staff ace. Has looked great this year. 1.40 ERA, 1.09 WHIP. Has bad record versus Cleveland, but he's a young guy. That'll change. Indians are starting to hit a little better.
Yeah.
Up to 627 OPS now, and Orioles are hitting poorly, 223, 661 OPS. So what's
Well, I'm definitely going to take Cleveland on the second half, which is -125, and I'm thinking about taking them on the full game as well. Maybe money line, maybe -1. I'm feeling okay, Jim. I'm thinking I might throw on like 10 or 15 picks. I feel like if I did that, I'll wind up at least a unit or two on all
I agree.
those
I think you should play all your picks. Glenn Kelly says, love the show, fellas. Loading up on the Red Sox and A's overs and the prune juice. So what do you get for about just you know what? I'm not going to take it. I feel like Bundy's going to pitch well. Like the whole Orioles team knows this is the way to get out of the losing streak. I mean, yes, the Indians are a much better team, but I'm going to stay off.
Ulysses Hayes says, fade Baltimore. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. They're playing terrible, and the Indians are playing great. What would you get, just as an example, for the Indians on the money line and on the -1.5?
The money line for Cleveland, best line right now, line shopping -117. Run line for Cleveland, best line right now would be +135.
Wow. I find a lot of value in that -117, but I'm not going to take it.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to double up. What the hell? I'm going to double up. I'm going to take Cleveland -1, -117 on the money line and +135 on the run line. So, I'm doubling up on this one. Bundy's good, but, I think, I'm a believer in Cleveland. Bauer comes with question marks, but,
That's a low total, 7.5.
For what?
The total,
for
over
Cleveland.
in the Orioles, Indians, 7.
Yeah, well, I mean, both those guys have been pitching well, so it makes sense based on their stats from this year.
And how
Jim.
bad they're hitting. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's a tough spot. Just like P Smacks One Skag says, I'm going to stay away from this.
No, yeah. Oh, is that what he's doing?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. That's a reasonable decision. P Stacks One Skags. That's a cool name. Cool name as hell. Jose Ruiz, 6'4", 220 pounds from the Bronx, New York, in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Trap game in that Cleveland game. Yes. I mean, obviously, it does have trap, if not written all over it, implied all over it.
Hey, Jose Ruiz, what do you think about my MLB record now, motherfucker? Hey, what do you think about it now?
Jose Ruiz, 6'4", 220 pounds from the Bronx, New York.
What do you think about it now, Jose Ruiz?
It is trappy. It does feel trappy. I mean, it's a very low line. Cleveland, obviously the better team. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to take it. It definitely feels trappy.
I'm uncomfortable with the spot.
Yes.
But then I think that I still sort of believe in this Baltimore team, and I'm expecting their offense to wake up a little bit throughout the year.
And I like the Cleveland bullpen in general. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So that's a boost. That's a boost right there. Ulysses Hayes says that's not a trap. All right, enough about that game. That's just one game. I'm on it 2 ways. Let's move on to interesting Seattle-Texas game, Jim. I think I'm going to take the under on this one. I know Minor is terrible. I know Felix is in a downward slope in his career and has not done well against Texas overall in his career. I think I'm going to take the under here.
I I don't think that's a bad spot at all. What are you getting? What's the line?
Going to get 9.5, I think. Let me
that's
just
nice.
find the best line here. Seattle, Texas, under 9.5, minus 117, minus 115 at Intertops, and you wager minus 110. But I'm going to take the under. Seattle, Texas, under 9.5, minus 115.
Chris Garza laughing my ass off of believing in the O's. I get it. There's no I get it. I understand. They've looked bad this year. I'm on the Mariners.
Yes, I
I'm
would agree with you.
fading Mike Minor. Game time temp 59 Fahrenheit. Wind's blowing in strongly, which is really nice for your night. I think that might be a great play. What did you get at 9.5?
9.5 minus 115. I was also leaning Seattle as well, maybe on the first 5 innings or full game. Not exactly sure, but definitely leaning Seattle.
That might be a great play. Rangers are doing okay, battling through injuries. They took 2 or 3 from the Astros and then lost a series to the Rays. But, there are no Delino Shields, no Rougned Odor, no Elvis Andrews, and no Jerickson Profar. That's difficult. Seattle's lost 2 straight, most recently the 9-2 thrashing that the Astros gave them. The bullpen looked bad, 6 runs in the final 4 innings. Hernandez has not looked good since that good start to beat Kluber opening day, 5.48 ERA, but 1.27 whip. 19-24, not very good record, 4.01 ERA versus the Rangers. Minor 4.60 ERA, but a 0.96 whip. Pitching on 5 days rest after taking a no decision. Faced the minimum, did not allow to hit through 3 innings. But it seems like every time these guys see him a second time through the lineup, they hit him hard. And that's what I expect to happen here. Mariners are hitting lefties very hard this year. 257 batting average, 764 OPS through 171 at bats, and I quite like your under. I quite like it. 9.5.
You know what? I also made a decision. I am going to take Minnesota -1. I'm going to take them. So the money line part of that's going to be plus 120, and the alternative run line here will be at Pinnacle plus 185. But Jimmy the Bag, would you be a little beery?
Check
Bet365 for me, and just see if we can get something better than plus 185, which we probably can. I'm taking the Minnesota -1. I'm doubling up on this one too. I think they have the edge here. Plus 120 on the money line, and the alternative run line would be what, Jim? There,
Twins.
Yeah.
Oh, we already saw one person say it was plus 180 on one account.
It's plus 180.
Geez.
What is it?
Oh, geez. Plus 215.
There you go. That's why you line shop.
Wow.
That's why you line shop, people. Okay, you're not always going to get a bigger line than that.
365.
That 365
really hanging these gorgeous.
They are.
They
lines. Sure are. I'm taking Minnesota -1, plus 120 on the money line, and plus 215 on the alternative run line. Line shopping is important when you're using just standard sides and totals, but it's even more important when you're doing things like derivatives, alternative run lines, futures. That's where you really will see big discrepancies. You'll see small discrepancies still in baseball in sides and totals, and that's very important to take advantage of as well. But if you're betting player props, derivatives, alternative run lines, futures, you will see massive discrepancies from book to book. And we just saw one there.
That's huge.
30 cents difference from Pinnacle to Bet365.
Wow. Jose Ruiz says Red Sox over, wind blowing out. I'm on that in a big way. And I think we will continue to hammer that. It really feels like these Oakland A's bats are going to give us money.
Well, you've been taking overs with Oakland for the past couple weeks, I think, and overall done very well with that. All right, so Seattle, you want to make a play on that one, Jim?
I do, and I think you might really be in the right spot. Bradley Oliver says, Jimmy, how about a shout out for my call with the Royals team total under and being on Detroit with you? Shout out, Bradley Oliver. Doesn't it feel good to get the day started with a fucking win, Bradley Oliver? It feels fucking good, man. God damn, it feels good.
Sure does. Jim.
Yeah, I wonder what the chat thinks. I mean, first off, I'm on the Mariners money line for sure. So you can give me that line.
Okay,
right now.
let me find line shopping. Even when it comes to just standard money lines, let's see. Plus 113 is the best line at the Greek and Bet Online. So we'll give you Seattle money line plus 113.
That's much better than what I got with Bet365. So I like it.
Bet365 has plus 105 right now. Yeah.
I had to take that. Wow. So 9.5. I think that's a nice spot. So the idea being Minor will get through the lineup nicely at first.
I mean, I'm also leaning second half under at 3.5 minus 120. But I don't know if I want to double up on this one. Just going to take the full game under at 9.5. We'll see. I mean, Felix Hernandez is still maybe developing into a crafty veteran who in spots is going to give you quality starts. Not necessarily shutdown results like he used to, but can be trusted to figure his way out, like a Wainwright was after his stuff diminished. He continued to be an effective starter long after his stuff was diminishing.
Yeah, so we've got 4 guys coming in. So first off, our man Hawk goes on the over, but then we have Ulysses Hayes, my man Peanuts, on the Seattle under. Then we have Zigzag Man under the play in this game tonight. And then Trent Claxton says, White Guy Video Game says, wind is blowing 14 mile an hour in at Texas. I like the under.
Yeah.
And Trent
Claxton says, y'all take forever with NBA to get to the NBA with MLB. Yes, I know. Let's try to keep it up, Jim. Let's try to pick up the pace.
I'm on the under.
Okay, so you are on the under.
Yeah, I'm on the under.
Okay, so Jim's going to take the Seattle money line and the Seattle Texas under, and that is 9.5 minus 115. Yes, Trenton Claxton, I agree with you. I want to keep a brisk pace here. Let's move on. Let's see what else we want to talk about. I'm also thinking about the under in St. Louis and Cincinnati. What do you think about that, Jim? You have anything on that pass?
I'm on the over.
You're on the over.
I know that the wind's blowing in, but I just think these guys are going to get touched again. Reds have been outscored by 46 runs, worst record in run differential in baseball. Now they have the new manager back there watching. Yeah. Terrible pitching staff. Finnegan got touched by these Cards last week. I don't see why he wouldn't get touched by them again. Cardinals are not hitting well against lefties. They're only hitting well against Finnegan. So I think that when they know they're not hitting lefties well, and then they see Finnegan again, I think they're going to be like, okay, let's get out of this struggle that we've been in. In 9 previous starts against the Cardinals, Finnegan 4.38 ERA. Walker has not looked good early. He's always looked good against the Reds. But I think there's going to be runs here, and I like the 8.5, and I'm going to take it. Okay, you're going to take the over 8.5. Let me find it. Let me find the best line here. Would be minus 106 at Pinnacle. So you're going to take the St. Louis game over 8.5. Minus 106, right, Jim? Yes, over 8.5, minus 106. I love that they're hanging in 8.5 here. I'm concerned that you were about to go on the under. That I don't like hearing that. I'm going to take the second half under here, which is 3.5 minus 120. And I'm thinking about taking a full game under with Bookmaker, which is right now hanging 9 minus 125. 9 minus 125. I'm going to think about that. I'm just going to mull over it in my head a little bit what I want to do here. A couple of people are asking, Paco Healy talking about Mexican baseball breakdowns, and someone was talking about the Hoodoo Bears in the Korean League. Man, Al Mac, Nos Toda, they're hammering Japanese baseball, Korean baseball, Mexican baseball all day and all night. And they're staying up to the wee hours of the morning watching their Mexican baseball money come in. So hook up with them on Twitter. They're hammering that shit. Okay. Peace Max One Skag says Finnegan's going to get racked tonight. So that's nice for you. Jimmy the Bag. Let's see. What else you want to... And then MOOK25 in lowercase letters, simple comment, best show ever. Bam! MOOK25. You know what? That comment, everyone ignore it. In media, SBR higher-ups, SBR ownership, SBR brash, ignore it. Media executives all over the world, ignore it. I'm just going to sit and look at that comment right there and just feel good about it. God, you know what I'm saying, Jim? Fuck yeah, man. God damn it. All right, what else do we have here, Jimmy the Bag? So I have added on 4 plays, I believe. Yeah. Let me see. Other games that I was thinking about. All right, let's just go down. And then once again, the late games, I didn't have a chance to handicap in depth because I was so busy today. I had a meeting, and then I had to do MMA. But Samardzija is starting at the Angels. That's an interesting matchup. Obviously, Scherzer, Kershaw, as I said in the morning, I'm going to pass on that one. We'll see how it turns out. Jim's on the over in Boston, Oakland. Let's just go quickly down all the games in chronological order, and then we'll move on to NBA and NHL, and then we'll come back to MLB maybe a little bit later. Once again, Philly-Pittsburgh. I'm on Philly. Jim's on Philly as well. Yes. Yeah. Toronto Yankees. Jim is on the over, right? Yep. And I'm definitely leaning over. I'm definitely leaning first 5 innings over. I'm definitely leaning Yankees team total over. Let me just think about that for a second. Cleveland, I took Cleveland second half and Cleveland -1. KC, Detroit, no play for you on that one, right, Jim? You know what? I wouldn't mind talking a little bit about it for a second. We do want to get just quickly. I do think that I'm not sure what Daniel Norris is going to give us, and I think that Junis is going to give us a good start. Tigers win game 1. I think that I should jump on the Royals in game 2. I don't know. This reminds me of the Tyone start. I don't trust KC as a team in general. Junis, I trust him in general, but second half of doubleheader, I don't know. I'm staying off it, Jim. And I'm just going to quickly look at the money line I would get here. I would get... You would get minus 101 at Bookmaker. I don't... Okay, I'm not sure what I'm going to do here.
All right. Okay. Then we got Minnesota, Tampa Bay. I took Minnesota second half and Minnesota -1. Jim took Minnesota on the money line, and I'm definitely thinking about like a first 5 innings over here. Minnesota team total over, something like that. Those are all leans. Mets, Atlanta, total pass for me. Seattle, Texas. I took the under. Jim took the under, and Jim also took Seattle. I agree with Jim's play, but I'm going to hold off on that one for now, and I would have a lean to the second half under on that one as well. Miami, Milwaukee. I took Milwaukee -1. I took the first 5 innings over on that one in the morning show, and I would definitely be leaning full game over at 9, and also leaning Milwaukee first 5 innings team total and full game team total overs. Houston White Sox, Verlander Shields. That's a pass for both of us. Cincinnati, St. Louis. I took the second half under. Jim took the full game over, and I would be leaning to the full game under as well at 9 -125. Chicago Cubs, Colorado. Jim, of course, took the Cubs on the alternative run line. San Diego, Arizona. I took Arizona -1, and I would have a lean to the Arizona team total over as well. Boston, Oakland. Jim took Boston, Oakland over, and that's it. We can come back to baseball, Jim.
Sure, but I am going to jump with Ulysses and Jose Ruiz. I am going to take these Royals and Junis.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll find you the best line. The line is bouncing around a little bit here. We can give you -101 at Bookmaker. KC -101. You want that one, Jim, right?
I do.
Okay. Let's move on because I do want to take – I'm going to go with you on overs in that Yankees-Toronto game. I think I might take the Yankees team total over, and I think I'm going to take maybe like the full game and the first 5 or something like that. The first 5 innings over is just 4.5 -130. That's giving a lot of credit to these starting pitchers, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I think that doubling up there isn't a bad. When does this game start?
7 o'clock, so I kind of want to make my decision now. I like the Yankees bullpen, but 4.5 on the first 5 innings. I mean, is Gray lights out? No, he's a guy who he can get hit.
He doesn't get hit. I mean, this is a different pitcher than he was. Everybody remembers the old Sonny Gray. That's not who we have anymore.
I'm not buying it. I'm going to take the first 5 innings over 4.5 -130. First 5 innings over 4.5 -130. That's the current line at Bookmaker. If it loses, I'll be okay with it. Jim's on the full game over. I'm on the first half over, and we'll just leave it at that. Leave it at that for now. Scanning on down.
Jose Ruiz does want us to just touch on that Astros game quickly.
Yeah.
The only way you can do anything with this game is if you maybe take it at -2.5. There's just no value anywhere that I see. Verlander, and also Shields look better than expected.
Yeah,
he's 4.50 ERA, 1.56 WHIP through 18 innings. He's crafty. The White Sox are actually hitting better than the Astros so far this year. I mean, I'm off the game. I just don't see where there's value.
I'm not going to touch this one, but if you gave me a free play, I would go on the White Sox, not Houston here. At that line. At that line. The fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
-260? The fuck out of here. I would take the White Sox if you gave me a free play, but I'm not going to touch it. All right, let's move on to what should we move on to, Jim? Let's move on to NHL. Of course, 3 big favorites in the NHL tonight. Jimmy the Bag and I have done very well taking Pittsburgh in the playoffs, and we did both take them tonight. I took Pittsburgh -1. Jim took them on the puck line. Minnesota Winnipeg, we both passed on, right, Jim?
Yeah,
and
I've pretty much passed on this whole series except for that game 1 puck line.
And Colorado Nashville, I did take a shot with the under at 6 -115. Certainly an interesting set of games tonight. Anything you have to say? Anything you want to add, Jim?
I think that under 6 in the Avalanche Predators might be a good play.
Interesting, yes, isn't it?
I think it might be a good play, but I'm going to keep it simple. I really am confident in the 3 NBA plays I have and the 1 hockey play, and I'm not going to mess with it. So I'm only going to take Pittsburgh on the puck line. And at this point,
I mean, that's probably what you should. It's just so it's so fun to add on other picks that you have leans on and stuff like that. But if we just stuck with the picks, when everyone asks us for just like 1 pick, those picks are very solid, and that's clearly one of these picks. I mean, I took Pittsburgh -1. If Philly does win this game outright, yes, I'll be fine with losing about 1.75 units there, Jim.
Yeah, it just feels like it's a beaten down squad. Yeah. Now, just for the sake of the sport, I hope Drew can step up and do something. I hate seeing these guys, put up 102 points every season and then have their whole season tarnished by not showing up in the playoff series in the first round. So for the good of his life, I hope he steps up.
It's also tempting to take Pittsburgh on some of these period lines, like the first period and the second period. But since they're at home and not on the road, these are huge inflated lines. Pittsburgh first period is -212.
Yeah, that's what Teddy B's saying.
Yeah,
he's saying Penguins first period. It's just too much of a risk.
Yeah, and it is tempting to take a shot with Colorado stealing the first period plus 230 at Intertops.
A lot of guys, yes, I think that's really exciting. I'm so excited for Hammond. I'm really, really excited for this guy to have this opportunity tonight. A couple people are coming in with this parlay, and now Mohamed Joma calls it the parlay of the year. Pens, Jets, Preds. My initial thought when I woke up this morning was, God, all these home teams, you should take them all on the puck line. And then the deeper I studied it, I was like, you know what? I just don't see the value. Now, Tyler Myers, it looks like he's going to play tonight. That's a big plus because they're losing Morrissey.
Yeah.
But I feel comfortable on the one I'm most confident in.
It's interesting to think. I'm thinking about taking like Colorado on the first period puck line, which I did cash on. When New Jersey was playing against Tampa Bay, I thought that a lot of those first periods, not necessarily that New Jersey had the edge to win them, but they would be competitive and likely to be tied. And I did very well with those on my personal accounts betting and also with picks. And I feel like that's the same. I don't necessarily want to take Colorado to win the first period, but I do feel like they'll be competitive 0-0, 1-1. The plus a half goal in the first period, despite the fact that the money line is plus 230, plus a half goal is just minus 110.
Wow.
Yeah, so to win the period, Colorado's plus 230, but just to tie the period, plus 110, minus 110. That's a plus a half goal. But attempting to take that. That's a definite lean. Colorado first period plus a half goal at minus 110.
Sure. Yes, I can see why.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so those are the three games. Jim and I both on Pittsburgh. I'm on -1. Jim's on the puck line, and I'm on the under. And
Ulysses Hayes says Hutchinson will give it up tonight, Bags, but Hutchinson's not starting tonight. Hellebuck is in game 5, and that threw me for a loop because if Hutchinson was in, I would take the Wild just because I would see value in a goalie not playing for so long. But no, Ulysses, it's still Hellebuck. Hellebuck starting game 5.
Yeah. All right. So that's about it. Gate Pass Key. Minnesota will be shining up their golf clubs tomorrow. Sorry, Jets are wanting to get some rest too. Other teams getting rest. So they come out flying and try to put this series away. All right. So let's move on to NBA.
Brandon Cummings says Native Queen just went in. Loshak and Jimmy, can we give her another shout out, please? She is a goddess.
Native Queen gets the official biggest shout out of all time in this show. Yeah. Native Queen officially gets the single biggest shout out of all time in this show. Just a wonderful human being and a phenomenal handicapper.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And she's dropped her place. New York Mets score first.
Okay.
And yes, score in first inning. And St. Louis score first. And on the game, she's got the Cards on the run line.
Wow. Okay. There you go. Native Queen. Mets score first and yes, score in first inning. St. Louis to score first. Interesting. And the game run line. Wow. For St. Louis. Interesting. So Native Queen presumably expects that Finnegan's going to struggle as well. Native Queen in agreement with what's that guy's name?
Brandon Finnegan. Oh, with
the other guy, the guy who also says that Finnegan's going to touch. I can't remember his name. Z-Pax 1 Mags.
Oh yeah.
Z-Pax 1 Mags, whatever it is.
Skaggs.
Z-Skaggs 1 Mags. Native Queen in agreement with him.
So interesting here, and you listen. I like this play. You know, if there was one dog, I think that Minnesota has the best chance to win tonight from the dog perspective. And I think that Minnesota and Colorado give value. And I could understand why someone might want to take both of them.
More picks coming in for Native Queen. Everyone, shh. Okay? More picks.
Okay.
Cleveland, first 5 under. Interesting. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Expecting nothing. Native Queen expecting no surprises from Bundy or Bauer. Expecting them to continue. Cleveland to score first. I agree with that. Baltimore not hitting well against righties. No score in the first inning and full game under. Native Queen also liking Minnesota first 5. Native Queen not a believer in Archer in this game. Native Queen Yankees Toronto first 5 innings over. Of course, that's great to read. Second inning over a half and third inning over a half in the Yankees Toronto game and full game over. There you go, Jim.
Wow, that's so exciting. We talk about tripling up on games.
Yeah.
That's 5.
It's just no-brainer-ish overs in this game, and it's just weird where the line is. And Native Queen has Philly, yes, to score in the first, and over 3 hits, errors, and runs in the first inning. That's the Phillies game, yes, score in the first inning. That makes sense. Nova against the Lively, right?
She's the Oracle.
There she is, the Oracle. Huge shout out to Native Queen, the recipient of the official biggest shout out in the history of this show. Officially. Officially. All right, Jim. What else do you want? What else do you want to discuss?
Okay, let's hockey, I feel good.
Okay, so let's move on with NBA. I have no picks on tonight's card. Jimmy the Bag did give a pick on each of the games. He took Indiana on the money line -114, Toronto on the money line +108, and he tweeted out Boston at +6 on the overnight line. It is now down to a 4.5 or 5, which it was in the morning show. Yeah. Now it hasn't moved since the morning. Nice beating the line move there. Cleveland and Indiana, man. I mean, I could understand why you'd want to bet against Cleveland when they were given too many points in the first two games. Now they're a dog, and Jim still likes Indiana, right?
I absolutely do. Everything went the Cavaliers' way.
Yeah.
Oladipo, 2 fouls in the first 62 seconds, goes to the bench. Corver and J.R. Smith do a great job defending Oladipo. James goes 17 for 24. Pacers commit 17 turnovers, and they win by 3 at home?
Yeah.
Oh, that just tells me that the Pacers are the play.
I mean, that's what everyone's saying in the morning show. It just seems like maybe the Cavs really are just a fraud, and there's nothing more to it.
I could actually, to be honest with you, I could see the Pacers winning Game 3 and then the Cavs maybe coming back in Game 4. But just seeing a perfect storm for the Cavs at home, and then they win by 3. I mean, this Pacers team believes they're going to beat the Cavs. And I like it a lot, and I was very, very happy to see that Dan Kelly was on it as well.
Gabriel Rodriguez, the king, is in the building, Jimmy. Gabriel Rodriguez, the king, is here. Thanks for joining us once again, Gabriel Rodriguez. Yes, the king. I don't care what anyone else says. As far as I'm concerned, yes, he's the king. All right, Jim. Yeah, so you want to change any of those picks, add any totals, expand on any of your reasoning there. The Boston-Milwaukee game, there was some pushback on that one. There were some people saying that Milwaukee's a different team. Tomarino Tomor, in fact, I believe, is against you. He likes Milwaukee, doesn't he?
I just think Prunty is awful.
Yes.
And Rozier is going to just make Bledsoe eat those words without caring. Rozier doesn't need to care. Bledsoe looks like such an asshole. I got very passionate about this game in the morning. Celtics had 20 offensive boards against a team that can't play in the paint. I said when the playoffs started, by far the worst team in the playoffs was the Bucks. And with Kyrie Irving getting hurt right away, it just gave me a ton of value to take the Celtics. And I just now the Bucks are coming home Game 3. Yeah, they could play great. I just no one knows the rotations in Milwaukee. Prunty's just done such a shit job. Here's Jabari Parker playing 30 minutes a game, putting up 20 points a game in the last 6 games when they needed to win to get in the playoffs. Yeah. And now he's playing 12 minutes a game. Like, Prunty's just trash, and he won't be coaching there next year.
Native Queen says, at Jimmy the Bag, I hear you, Jim. Just hard to take Cleveland as a dog in the playoffs. I hear you on that one. Easy to fade them as a big favorite when they're like given 8 or 10 points. Now they're a dog. It's just hard to fade them. B. Adabal says, Antetokounmpo will rise, Pete. B. Adabal presumably likes Milwaukee here, minus the points.
Antetokounmpo could rise, but I don't think it'll matter. Prunty has him defending Horford. I mean, God, I should go and take over the job.
Absolutely. Antoine Seymour doing great with some of these player props that he recommends in chat, likes Oladipo solo over 24.5 points.
Yeah. I mean, Dennis Garcia on Celtics in the under. Aldino De La Cool, that's what we've had rocking with us, says, I never bet big games and never bet against King James.
It's just, it just feels, I mean, I'm now done. Now I'm serious. You notice I have no pick on this game, Jim. I'm done betting on Cavs games. It's over for me. If they win this series, next series, I'm done. I'm not going to bet on any of those games either.
Miss J saying the organization's disappointed in Bledsoe's gameplay. They said he doesn't always try. The way he left the Suns, he's just he's a guy you just don't want on your team. You don't want on your bench.
Let's see. White Guy Video Games. Give me Lowry points under 15.5. What do you think about that?
Well, Larry's playing composed, and there were times when Larry had to score 25 points for the Raptors to win. Now they're the deepest team that we've ever been. I think it's a great spot here for my Raptors. They have their foot on the throat of the Wizards, and I think they push down.
King Rail says, take all 3 NBA underdogs on the first half money lines. You will cash 2 out of those 3. If that one cashes, King Rail, that's not quite a genius award call, but that is a nice call award.
Yeah.
And he gets on that one. King Rail says,
again?
take all dogs money line in the NBA. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. I thought he said in the first half. Take all dogs money line in NBA half unit bets. 2 out of 3, you still profit. So King Rail thinks that 2 out of the 3, at least 2 out of the 3 underdogs in tonight's NBA card will win outright.
Yeah, I like that. I get that. Demetrios Davos says lock of the night, Pittsburgh, Nashville moneyline parlay. A lot of guys liking those home teams in the NHL. It seems like there's a consensus in the NHL and not one in the NBA.
Yeah, I have no picks on these NBA games. I'll tell you that one. I'm kind of done there. Even the Boston pick, I don't know. It just makes me a little bit nervous. I can't remember what exactly Tom Marino said, except for that he did say that that Milwaukee's a different team at home.
I am very, very comfortable getting 6 points in this game. Very comfortable.
Here's some. Malik Richton says, Shaq, you kept saying yesterday, we will know what happens today, tomorrow. I bombed yesterday. Looking to bounce back tonight, guys. Hope you bounce back. Malik Richton, I have to say that I don't feel bad recommending a play on the Penguins tonight. If it loses, it loses. But that's why you bet size appropriately. But if someone's looking to bounce back tonight, Penguins got to be a play, right?
Teddy B just jumped heavy on the Penguins. 1K on the first period. Penguins. Ooh, I'll be cheering for you heavy, Teddy B. I love you, pal. Let's get that cash.
On the first period. Interesting that he would take that instead of just taking them on the full game.
Yeah, but I think it's same deal. When Crosby's got the foot on the throat of an opponent, he stomps.
Yeah. Alert Eddie says followed the Bucks all season. So where's his? I see that comment, Alert Eddie, but I'm looking for
he
your.
Says Bucks win but won't cover the spread. Bucks just can't defend.
Yeah, it did seem like I wouldn't have come in here and thought that the Bucks were likely to lose the game, but it just felt like the way the first 2 games went, 6 was just jumped out at me as kind of a lot. You know what I'm saying?
It jumped out, and I had to take it immediately.
Yeah. And you did a good job there. All right, let's see. Campsite Killa. Yup, took that Boston at 6 last night, too. Very, very nice.
Nice.
Very, very nice. Joshua Garay says Raptors will choke again in the playoffs. Okay. They do have history of that, for sure.
This is a different team. I'm telling you, this is a team that's been together. They've lost together. It's not like we brought in new guys. This is the same group of guys that have learned what to do.
Right.
Casey said we're growing. Our guys are developing a mental toughness that you have to be the favorite.
And we saw that in the regular season at times as well.
We did,
yes.
And we saw that in game 2. They dominate in the first quarter, and when the Wizards came back within 5 points in that fourth quarter, the Raptors, with no panic, went on a 19-4 run, and Gartat looks awful. And if they think that they can put Mike Scott at the 5 and give us any trouble, they're big. They're gonna fucking bad place.
All right, let me ask you something, Jim. Out of all of your picks that you've got in the NBA going, Indiana money line, Toronto money line, and Boston +6, which do you like the best? If you had to get rid of 2 of them and keep one of them, you could only keep one. Which would you keep?
Wow, that's a tough question. Now, obviously, fading LeBron
is tricky.
Is tricky.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say that I have more confidence with that.
If only because sometimes unexpectedly you realize I'm fading the refs as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Raptors are on the road. So in saying all that, I guess I'd feel most confident. With the Raptors to finish the job.
Yeah.
I believe in this basketball team. They're different than they have been, and they've learned from those colossal failures of the past.
All right, I'm going to take it. I'm gonna tail you here, Jimmy the Bag. You got +108. I'm gonna have to take plus 100. Interesting. Well, if it's just +100, maybe I'll just take +1.5 at -110. I'm gonna tail you on this one. I'm gonna take Toronto plus the points, +1.5. I think you're right. +1.5, -105 is the best line right now at Intertops. I'm gonna take that one. Raps plus 1.5, -105. Any sense on quarters or halves here? You think Toronto's going to extend out a lead late, or maybe jump out to an early lead?
Well, I find this a trickier thing to break down, but I would say that the Wizards come out strong early. and the Raptors' depth slowly takes over throughout the game.
Chris Quisissa says, from just outside Toronto, we're sweeping Washington. Bench is getting it done night after night. Let me see. Mohamed Joma saying, do you like the Cavs-Pacers over? Seems like it should hit. The Cavs don't play defense, and both teams do to have a decent shooting game. Well, that's what I thought about Game 2, and I was wrong on that one. And as I've said, it's over for me. No more Cavs bets. I'm done. I'm not kidding.
Well, I remember me in the first half of the year.
Yeah.
I must have been 0-17.
Yeah.
And then I finally broke it that one time when I had the Hawks backdoored like a 16-point underdog, and that's what I needed to get my first. Yeah, no, it's a mess.
Yep. That's it. I'm not going to take the Cavs game, but yes, I agree with your analysis, Mohamed Joma. That's why I like the over in Game 2. That's presumably why the over got bet up from the total got bet up from 209. Why did it lose? Don't ask me. I'm the wrong guy to ask. Ask someone who has a good read on the Cavs, not me. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? I guess that's about it, right? A lot of great comments coming in. Paco Schofield likes Pacers second quarter at a pick for $1,000. That's interesting. I'm sure he has a reason to like him on the second quarter. Let's see.
That's a big bet.
Joshua Garay says, I just pawned my card title and hammered the Cardinals run line. Okay. Hope you cash.
Who said that?
Joshua Garay. Joshua Garay. I mean, it certainly is endorsed by Native Queen and certainly, backed up by one pag, two skags.
Parlay Poppy, $500 on first half Boston, Milwaukee Bucks over 98.5. Wow, that might be nice.
All right, just scanning over for some comments here, and seeing if there's anything else that's interesting. Joshua Garay, once again, low hanging fruits, Cards run line, Yanks Blue Jays over, and Yankees team total over. Yeah. I might throw on Yankees team total over. We do have a few minutes coming up for the 7:00 games. I guess we can wrap up the NBA segment, and then let's get back to MLB, and then we'll quickly talk about UFC. Yeah. I just want to take a look at the 7:00 MLB games because there were a few games that I kind of wanted to put on. I already put on the first half over in this Yankees game, and I'm agreeing with Joshua Garay and others, just thinking that I'm agreeing with you, Jim, that the over 8.5 is a good play, and I'm thinking the Yankees on the team total over might be a good play as well. I just have a ton of respect for the Yankees bullpen, so not sure I want to take the full game over on this one.
I don't think that's that big of a concern because I think that the Jays can
put up a little
few
bit.
runs on Sonny
early,
Gray, and then the Yankees can get to the Jays bullpen.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to do though, before we're done today, is I think I'm going to jump on the Diamondbacks. So just a heads up. So when we get through the 7:00 games, if we can go.
Oh, you want to do it right now, Jim?
Yeah, I like this Matt David Clark.
Wow, this line is someone out for Arizona because this line dropped. It's now down to -108.
Yeah, well, I thought that was just because of we weren't sure who was going to be the pitcher at one point. Wasn't that it? Let me just do a quick.
No, I mean I got it at -1. When I got it, I took a -1. And it was -120 in the morning or so. Now it's down to about -108 or -110, which is not a great sign. All right. Okay.
I like what I saw from this kid.
Yeah.
I studied him during the afternoon. Padres are dealing with Will Myers and Manny Margot out, and then Arizona. They have this great pitching staff, and Matt David Koch, AAA Reno. He had one start there, and he looked great. 6 scoreless, and what I like about this 6 scoreless, allowing just 3 hits and 1 K and 0 walks. He's a 27-year-old. This isn't a kid. He's pitching within himself. He's not trying to do too much. He threw 14 in the third spring innings and looked good. 4.40 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, 11 Ks, 2 walks. And I didn't even bother writing down Ross's career numbers because that was a different Ross.
Right.
He's just not that guy anymore. And I think I'm getting value here with the Diamondbacks at home, and I'm going to take them on the money line.
All right. Well, you're going to get a better line than I got. You're going to get -108 at Pinnacle. Jimmy the Bag, Arizona money line, -108. Again, what we're doing right now, we're going to take a look at the 7:00 games just so that in MLB, just so that I don't miss any of the picks I wanted to give. And then we'll get to very quick touching on the UFC coming up. And Jimmy, let me ask you something. The market thinks, what's up? You looked into Estrada pretty closely, right? Because right now at Heritage, Yankees team total is 4.5 -125 on the over.
He's just incredible career numbers. He's never lost at Yankee Stadium. He's always pitched the Yankees hard. You would think that a fly ball pitcher in that ballpark would get touched. And so that's it. They're just going over his numbers. They're very, very, very good. Like, let me read them out to you.
And yet, despite the fact that the Yankees team total is so low, the Jays are still a big underdog, huge underdog.
It's strange. This whole line. I mean, it just feels like the market is looking at Sonny Gray, seeing the pitcher he used to be, not the pitcher he is now. I mean, that's the only thing I can explain.
You think the Yankees will hit Estrada?
I feel like Estrada is not. Again, he's been off for 9 days. He's got a back issue. He had a back issue all of last year. And I don't see him being the pitcher that he was when we got him from the Brew Crew. He was incredible. And but he's always pitched well against the Yankees. But no, I think he gets touched. He gets touched.
And let me just look at this. Yeah. All right. I will. I took. What did I take on this one? I took the first 5 innings over. I'm going to hold off the Yankees team total over, even though that just seems like such an obvious play. I'm just going to stick with the first 5 innings over, and I'll just go with that. All right. That's it for the 7 o'clock games. Once again, we have a bunch of picks on those, but there's nothing that I really want to add. Should we move on to a UFC, Jim?
Yeah. I mean, I came very close to taking the Dodgers today. And I probably should have, because I believe I could have gotten it at minus 130 something. But I just feel like with these two incredible pitchers going, that is there much of an advantage? Maybe a slight advantage with Kershaw, but I don't think I'm going to put my money on it right now. And then with these, no, I've got the over in the Red Sox A's. I don't know what Pomerantz is going to do, and I don't know what Smarja is going to do in the Giants game. They're question marks. Now, did you see Smarja got destroyed in that first inning of his rehab start, and then in Class A San Jose, and then he allowed 6 runs in the first inning, but then he settled in, retired 6 of 7, struck out 5 of them or something, and Bochy said he liked what he saw. I mean, is there a way to gauge what a Smarja is going to do, or what a Pomerantz is going to do in their first start of the year?
I don't know. Not necessarily.
It's just not enough. Not enough for me. So I just don't know what they're going to do. So I'm on the over in Red Sox A's, and although I have a slight lean towards the Angels, I'm not going to bother with it. And Mr. Gokster's asking what's for dinner, and Kate Pasquis said pink eye.
All right, sounds good. Let's move on to UFC Fight Night 128. A bunch of interesting fights going on. I did discuss this with Andreas Hale. Andreas Hale and I, of course, agreed on a bunch of plays last time around, and we cashed on everything except for that one fight, except for Condit, which I did not. I thought Condit was going to lose, but didn't bet against him, and Andreas Hale took Condit. We both like the over in Edson Barboza against Kevin Lee. Of course, both these guys contenders, both these guys off a loss, right? Lee off of a little bit of a controversial loss where he had a staph infection. Barboza off a loss where Khabib pretty much manhandled him. Both these guys, I think, will be a little bit cautious, have a little bit of a healthy amount of respect for the other guys. Obviously, there could be a finish here, especially with Barboza. Barboza likes to keep things on the feet. He could easily finish Lee off early, but I think the percentage play is probably with the over. I wouldn't be surprised at all if this thing goes to decision. If it's like Lee wins by decision, that might have some value as well. But Andreas Hale and I both just took the over 2.5 rounds at minus 245. Think that's a solid play. These guys should have respect for each other. Anything can happen. Early finish by Barboza would not be a shock at all, but we took that one. Frankie Edgar against Cub Swanson. Very, very interesting. Jimmy the Bag. Frankie Edgar just got knocked out 7 weeks ago, and people are saying that maybe he shouldn't have come back so quickly, and this is definitely a situation that I do like to bet into when fighters are a little bit cocky and they come back. We saw this recently with oh god, what the hell? Bisping, right? Bisping, came back super fast off of a loss, which I thought it was a misprint when I first saw it, but he came back super fast. I was all over Gastelum beating him on that one. I don't remember how I bet it on inside the distance or what, but I was like, no way, that's a smart move. And of course, Gastelum got a first-round knockout. Now this is a little bit different because that was like, that was 3 weeks. This is 7 weeks. Also, Edgar did fight Swanson 4 years ago, and Edgar got a big win over Swanson. But Swanson's a big underdog here. Also, Andreas Hale and I were looking at the total on this one, and for some reason, the total is very, very high. The under at 5 dimes, 2.5 rounds, is like plus 285. Now, I think the most likely result here is Edgar by decision, but if Edgar is off his game here, Swanson could easily get a finish. easily get a finish. Edgar could also take him out. And at plus 285, Andreas Hale and I both thought that the under 2.5 rounds had some value, but neither one of us had the balls to give that one as a pick. Right, I thought that Swanson at plus 195 had some value as an underdog. I did not have the balls to give that one as a pick, and I also think the most likely result is probably Edgar by decision.
That's what Bill Butlicker says.
Yeah.
If Frankie wins by decision. He thinks Lee wins by submission.
Lee wins by yes. Lee could win by sub, but again, I could see a 4th round sub there. You know what I'm saying?
So Bill said he's going to be in Atlantic City tomorrow night for UFC.
Oh, nice!
And he said he's putting this week's paycheck on Kevin Lee.
That's not nice. Come on,
and
come on.
He says he's going to have a sign that says "Loshak in the bag." Fuck bitches, get money.
That's nice.
Look for me in my cowboy hat.
I like two of those 3 things.
I love Bill Butlicker, man.
I love 2 of those 3 things. Bill, I hope he's kidding around about putting his whole check on a fight. How could I interest you in just putting $25? How about that? How about that?
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
You need your heart to be pounding through your chest.
How about that? How about just $25 to win 20 on Lee or something like that? So anyway, yeah, I think that Edgar probably wins by decision. It might not be a bad idea to hedge Edgar by decision with the under. You know, that's a little bit tricky, but you get a nice hedge there. Edgar by decision minus 150, and the under is plus 285. So, you know, I think if Swanson wins, it probably ends early. Edgar could get a finish as well. I think if it goes the distance, it's very likely that Edgar gets the win. So that might not be a bad idea to do. Do a little hedge with the under at plus 285 and Edgar by decision at minus 150. The other fights we didn't have any picks on, but the Aljamain Sterling against Brett Johns fight is very interesting. Aljamain Sterling is also off a loss, his first finish of his career. Brett Johns is a Welsh guy who's undefeated. The market expects this one to go the distance, as do I. And I think that Aljamain Sterling is in a good spot here to bounce back. I don't think he gets a finish. So I made Sterling by decision at plus 153, an official pick. Andreas Hale agreed with that, but he just took Sterling on the money line, minus 110. And that was the other fight that we have picks on. So again, leans to the under in the Edgar Swanson fight. And I personally have a lean to Edgar winning by decision. So maybe a hedge with the under and Edgar by decision. Andreas Hale and I both like the over in Barbosa Lee 2.5 minus 145, and we both like Aljamain Sterling over Brett Johns. Even though Johns is undefeated, I took Sterling by decision at plus 153, and Andreas Hale took him at minus 110.
Very interesting. Parlay Poppy says after Barbosa's manhandling by Khabib, he has experienced the worst. He will be full of confidence against the overhyped, over-market valued Kevin Lee.
I mean, that's the problem. The problem here is that Barbosa has been fighting top competition for a while, and Lee has not. The other monkey wrench here is that Lee's last loss, again, he had this a staph infection, and he probably shouldn't have fought, but he fought anyway, and he got lost. And Barbosa got beat around for 3 rounds by Khabib. You know what I'm saying? So he got beat down. I mean, that's, got to be in his head.
Khabib is the best.
He is. But I'm just saying I'm saying, his confidence might be up, but his skull might be a little bit banged up still. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he took a beating. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. That's definitely a tough one, Parlay Poppy. And you might be right that Barbosa has some value. I think there's a little bit of unknowns there and uncertainty as far as who's going to win. And that's why I just like the over along with Andreas Hale. It's just 2.5 minus 145. I was expecting it to be 3.5 minus 120, something like that. I don't know if I would have taken it there, but at 2.5 minus 145.
Lee missed weight.
What? The fight's canceled? No, wait, what happened?
Isan Solfagari says Lee missed the weight.
All right, well, we'll see. Oh, man.
Lee's done.
Oh, man. Oh, shit. All right, well, that's the preview of UFC Fight Night 128, courtesy of myself and Andreas Hale. You're watching SBRSportsPicks.com. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. Jimmy the Bag, any other final comments you have for MLB or any other picks?
No, I've got to. I already sent in the Royals bet while we were on the show, but I've got to send in my last couple of bets. I have a ping pong tournament this evening. I'm going to fucking smash everybody because I can mentally break them down. And I just, you guys... just time and time again, this chat is putting money in my pocket. And there was another example of it today when Jalen Jones pushed me towards taking the Tigers. And not only do we get this great capping, but we get all this friendship. And I'm just very thankful to sit in the seat beside the legend Pete Loshak and to hang with you guys every day.
Amen. And on that note, let's wrap this week up. Last show of the week. Great comment from Jimmy the Bag. I agree with all that. We'll see you on Monday at 12 o'clock Eastern Time.